Welcome back. The details. President Abdel Fattah al-Sisi expressed keenness on boosting the role of judicial power in African societies. The president's remarks came during his talks with presidents of Constitutional and Supreme Courts and African Constitutional Council in Cairo, who are gathering here in our capital for the 6th high-level meeting. President Sisi asserted the significance of judicial efforts that have gained more importance in light of challenges facing African countries. The meeting is hosted by the Supreme Constitutional Court. Addressing the opening session, Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli said that Africa is an important part of the world, pointing out to the current challenges facing the continent and called for support to face the impact of its crises. He also called on all African countries to preserve the natural resources of the Black Continent and to enhance joint cooperation at the aim of achieving Africa's sustainable development in all domains. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli resumed his visit to Sharm el-Sheikh to follow up the preparations of the climate change conference COP27 that is due to be held in November. During his visit, Madbouli announced that the preparation process will be finished in a month at a high level of efficiency. Prime Minister Dr. Mustafa Madbouli resumed his visit to Sharm el-Sheikh to follow up the preparations for the climate change conference COP27 that's due to be held in November. During his visit, Madbouli announced that the preparation process would be finished in a month at a high level of efficiency upon presidential directives. Madbouli is set to review a number of projects in South Sinai in addition to meeting tourist investors. Regarding the state's efforts to promote tourism, he reiterated that the smart taxi system will be applied for the first time in Egypt, as it secures tourists and visitors in the Rissi resort. The premier stated that this year's conference will be attended by double the numbers of participants in previous conferences due to Egypt's good status in hosting world gatherings and important events. Also during his visit, Madbouli was briefed with the latest measures carried out ahead of the conference by South Sinai Governor Khalid Fouda. Fouda asserted the government's unlimited support and the efficient cooperation between the private sector and international institutions in this regard. Fouda reviewed the progress report of a number of ongoing projects in the city, where he said that 30 projects have been implemented. He also reviewed the latest measures taken to transform Sharm el-Sheikh to a green, sustainable and smart city during the coming period. Later, Madbouli inspected projects of water and sewage in South Sinai, where he listened to a briefing on the strategic water tank projects, which consists of 8 tanks with a capacity of 80,000 cubic meters to serve 40,000 citizens. Meanwhile, the premier visited 2 stations for charging electric vehicles and buses, where he used of the electric cars in his tour. Madbouli pointed out to the expansion in local production of electric cars, as their usage will save more than 30% of their costs in comparison with those working by fuel. He also asserted the importance of projects supporting the transmission to green and following the ideal measures in all the economic sectors for the aim of preserving the environment and facing climate change repercussions. For his part, Minister of Transportation Kamel El-Wazir reviewed the progress achieved in the electric charging plants and said that these plants would be finalized by the end of September. By the end of his tour, Prime Minister Madbouli also visited the projects of raising efficiency of lakes and migratory bird tracks, where he asserted the significance of these projects in encouraging tourism in the city. Madbouli began his visit to the city on Saturday by inspecting the development work in Sharm el-Sheikh International Airport, applications for smart digital solution system, and electronic payment. The Prime Minister also inspected the visual identity applications in the airport and the green and blue regions that are being built on the sidelines of the COP27 conference. Madbouli also inspected the conference room and the preparation of the hotels to host the guests of the gathering. Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry reiterated that global reports indicated that the volume of efforts and work exerted to face the climate change impacts are not sufficient. This came during Shoukry's speech at the Environment and Development 2022 Path to Sharm el-Sheikh COP27 forum that kicked off on Sunday. Shoukry said Egypt aims during the conference to transfer from promises stage to implementation stage to face the repercussions of climate change and finding solutions for food crisis as well as boosting transition to renewable energy. The forum is being organized by the Arab Water Council under the auspices of the Ministry of Foreign Affairs in coordination with the Environment Ministry. Also on Sunday, Foreign Minister Sameh Shoukry met with the Executive Director of the UN Environment Programme, UNEP, Inger Anderson on international climate action and several issues of mutual concern. Foreign Ministry spokesperson, Councillor Ahmed Abu Zaid, said during the meeting Shoukry expressed greetings on the occasion of 50th anniversary of the UNEP's foundation as he hailed the achievements of the programme and efforts exerted in the fields of environment and climate change. The top diplomat reviewed Egypt's vision on the upcoming COP27 and expressed appreciation for the joint cooperation and consultation between the two sides, particularly to the preparations for the conference and the initiative which will be announced during its sessions. For her part, the UN official praised Egypt's leading role on the African and Arab arenas in the field of clean energy and combating climate change repercussions. She also asserted the UNEP readiness to provide all support to Egypt to ensure the success of the climate summit, which will be held in Sharm el-Sheikh next November. The National Dialogue's Board of Trustees continued meetings in the sixth set of sessions at the headquarters of the National Training Academy to complete the discussions and review. The rest of the rapporteurs and assistant rapporteurs for its subcommittees, members of the Economic and Social Access, were chosen, as well as the assistant rapporteurs of the three main committees. The Council decided to redivide the political access into 5 committees, adding a committee specialized in political parties and another for trade unions and the civil society to the 3 existing, which are the political rights and parliamentary representation, the localities, and the human rights public freedom committees. The Council also agreed to add youth committee to the social access in addition to a committee for tourism to the economic one, and chose Hossein Badrawi as councillor to the National Dialogue to present Egypt's 2030 vision. Swedes voted in legislative elections Sunday that will either